Toronto's light favorites, 98.1 CHFI, and relax with us online at chfi.com.
From the heart of the city, this is the soundtrack to a visit to the lake house. Good evening, I'm Don Jackson. Someone included this in a list of favorite sounds. The absolute silence of a mountain lake at sunset. Tonight, the lake house with Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, Diana Krall, Narrow Daylight, and Norah Jones, and Don't Know Why. This is an excerpt from a dictionary of Greek and Roman mythology. It was written by Michael Stapleton, published by Bell, a division of Crown at the time. Stapleton writes about the goddess Diana and the myth of the golden bough. And I quote, "On the north shore of Lake Nemi, not far from Rome, there existed a grove of oak trees sacred to Diana. Somewhere in the grove, there was a particular tree. The myth is tantalizingly inexact, and it bore the mistletoe. A runaway slave could, if he reached the grove, break off a mistletoe bough if the priest of the grove did not kill him first. The bough gave the fugitive the right of combat. If he killed the priest, he succeeded him, and succeeded also to the horrible, endless vigil, waiting for another who might, in turn, manage to reach the golden bough." Unquote. Not the kind of job most people would choose for a lifetime vocation. That type of calling would keep a person ever watchful, vigilant. Every sound would be interpreted as a possible threat. I'd like to think that when most of us choose to escape to the lake, we want to leave our cares and worries behind. Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, Annie Lennox and Why, and Jim Cuddy, and Pull Me Through. I want you to remember back to a summer night, maybe up north at the cottage, sitting out by the lake, listening to a loon somewhere off in the distance. A walk along the lake shore is not something you might want to do at this time of the year. The cold winds racing across its surface pick up speed and seem colder than those that blow across the land. Last summer seemed such a long way off. Voices that resounded up and down the beach, that were lost to the waves when the weather was warmer, return in the tumbling surf as echoes to haunt the lonely shoreline. Snippets of playful sounds and soft whispers conspire to confuse the few stragglers left behind, those who are brave enough to endure the cold. If you have a cottage up north, a lake house, you probably head north on weekends to ski, maybe enjoy snowmobiling. If you're in snow country, you might need to check the condition of the structure from time to time to see how it's surviving the storms of winter. I saw the film, The Lake House, just the other night. I never saw it when it was first in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. Even though the idea of communicating across the years was somewhat far-fetched, it still struck a responsive chord. And I thought we might spend a few moments at the lake, remembering a very unique love story with Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, James Blunt, and You're Beautiful. And Lovers and Other Strangers returns. I'm Don Jackson.
Romance set to words and music. Lovers and Other Strangers on 98.1 CHFI. Toronto's light favorites, 98.1 CHFI. And relax with us online at CHFI.com.
My companion writing is called The Lake House, some behind-the-scenes info from the very romantic film, and a poem that is set in a very different location. It, too, deals with time. Log on right now to the CHFI website. Follow the link on the homepage at CHFI.com. And welcome back to Lovers and Other Strangers, now a blog as well, at CHFI.com. I'm Don Jackson. The film, The Lake House, is really all about time. She is a doctor, and he a frustrated architect. They fall in love across time. Not a long span of years, mind you, actually just 2 years separate the two lovers. They are both drawn to a 6,000 square foot house that the architect's father built for his family some years before. They are both at this house, but at different points in time. The conduit that allows them to communicate is an old mailbox in front of the lake house. The mailbox is some kind of an intersection where the rules of time no longer exist. At this one point, time ceases to resemble the flow of a river and eddies in a pool where these 2 years connect. Now, I don't want to ruin the film by explaining everything, but by putting letters into the mailbox, they are able to communicate with one another across the 2-year span. They also have a physical connection, a skinny, sad-eyed dog that snores loudly, and a classic novel that is given some space in my blog. The house is an architect's dream. The love affair is that of many romantic dreams. If you saw the film The Sixth Sense, there is a restaurant scene that is haunting. Well, there's also a restaurant scene in the lake house that in a way reminds me of that anniversary dinner between Bruce Willis and his wife. Time is a central element in the film. The brother in the film asks Keanu Reeves' character, what does time have to do with it? Of course, time has everything to do with the lake house. Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, that's Dido's White Flag, and Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. I've always liked this writing. It's called Moments of Joy. It's from the book Your Secret Angel by Suzanne Siegel Zenkel and published in 1995 by Peter Popper Press. And I quote, when a good person is troubled, an angel descends from heaven and embraces her. The angel carries the sorrow-filled person on her wings through the skies, pausing at places her passenger once loved. First, she takes her passenger to a place well remembered, where the perfume of spring flowers pervades a plush meadow. From there, she carries her to the tip of a snow-capped mountain overlooking a crystal-clear lake, its serene surface reflecting a long-forgotten tranquility. The angel's last stop is a playground filled with the most beautiful music of all, the sound of children's laughter. The journey over, the once saddened passenger realizes that her troubles have been replaced by the scent, sight, and sounds of beauty and happiness. She is shown that sorrow need not be permanent, that she can always hitch a ride on her angel's wings to recapture moments of joy. As Suzanne Siegel-Zenkel wrote, "Let your secret angel's wings lift you outside the realm of the ordinary." Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers. Paul Anka with Peter Cetera in a song about a second chance, and Hold Me Till the Morning, and Sarah McLachlan with Angel from another great romantic film, City of Angels. Carl Sandburg wrote a poem called Offense. Now, the stone house on the lakefront is finished, and the workmen are beginning the fence. The palings are made of iron bars with steel points that can stab the life out of any man who falls on them. As a fence, it is a masterpiece, and will shut off the rabble and all the vagabonds and hungry men and all wandering children looking for a place to play. Passing through the bars and over the steel points will go nothing except death and the rain and tomorrow. Offense by Carl Sandburg. I'd like to add that the final line in that poem is one of the many lessons of time. And more about that in our next hour with Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Stay tuned. Lovers and Other Strangers returns. I'm Don Jackson.
Passion set to words and music. Lovers and Other Strangers on 98.1 CHFI. Toronto's light favorites, 98.1 CHFI. And relax with us online at chfi.com.
We're in the heart of Toronto, around the world on the internet, and now a blog as well at chfi.com. Log on right now to the CHFI website. Follow the links on the homepage. Good evening once again. I'm Don Jackson. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler in the book Life Lessons, published in 2000 by Scribner. They both had some very interesting things to say about time. And I quote, "Our lives are governed by time. We live by it and in it. And of course, we die in it. We believe time is ours to save and to lose. We can't buy time, but we talk about spending it. And timing, we believe, is everything." Unquote. We're not that far into a new year, so I thought another life lesson in time might be appropriate with Lovers and Other Strangers, and one of the lessons of time from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers. Tomi Swick on a night like this in Whitney, Houston, Saving All My Love for You. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler in the book Life Lessons, published in 2000 by Scribner, went on to write, "Today we know what time it is at every point on the globe. But before the mid-19th century, we measured time more casually. The advent of rail travel made stricter scheduling a necessity. So in 1883, the American and Canadian railroads adopted the system we still use of 4 time zones in North America. plan was considered radical. Many felt that the time zones and standards of time were insults to God. Today we accept our watches and alarm clocks as the truth. We even have a national clock in the Naval Observatory, an official timekeeper for the United States. But this national clock is actually a computer that averages the findings of 50 different clocks. Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers, all about time, one of the lessons of time this hour. With 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, Gladys night on that midnight train to Georgia, and Phil Collins, and of course leaving on the early train, Can't Stop Loving You. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler in the book Life Lessons, published in 2000 by Scribner, went on to say, and I quote, "Time is a useful measurement, but it has only as much value as we give it." Webster's defines time as an interval separating 2 points on a continuum. Birth appears to be the beginning and death the ending, but they are not. They're just points on a continuum. Albert Einstein pointed out that time is not constant, that it's relative to the observer. And now we know that time passes at different rates, depending on whether you are standing still or moving. Time runs differently if you take a trip on a spaceship or even a plane or subway. In 1975, the Navy tested Einstein's theory using 2 identical clocks. They placed one on the ground and the other in a plane. For 15 hours, the plane flew while lasers were sent between the 2 clocks, comparing time. Just as Einstein had stated, the time was slower in the moving plane. Time is also dependent on perception. Imagine a man and a woman together in a movie theater, watching the exact same movie, except she loves the film, while he hates it. For her, the movie ends too soon. For him, it lasts forever. Both he and she agree that the movie started at 7 p.m. and that the final credits rolled at 8:57 p.m. But they don't agree on the experience of that 1 hour and 57 minutes. In a tangible way, one person's time is not another's. Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, Chantal Kreviazuk with her own perception of time. As I said last hour, the film The Lake House is about love, but mostly it's about time. I like that analogy of a man and a woman in a movie theater experiencing time differently. My companion writing is a behind-the-scenes embellishment of The Lake House. Log on now to CHFI.com, and Lovers and Other Strangers returns. I'm Don Jackson.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is Lovers and Other Strangers on 98.1 CHFI. Toronto's light favorites, 98.1 CHFI. And relax with us online at CHFI.com.
And welcome back to Lovers and Other Strangers, now a blog as well at CHFI.com. I'm Don Jackson. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler wrote the book Life Lessons, published in 2000 by Scribner, and I quote, "We wear wristwatches and synchronize them to make sure we show up for the meeting, meal, movie, or other activity at the right time. That's good. It makes it easier for us to interact and get things done. It helps us communicate and coordinate. But when we go further, insisting that the arbitrary designation of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years in time itself. We forget that we all experience time differently, because the value of time depends on individual perception. Think of time as a rainbow. Agreeing to coordinate our lives according to a clock to ensure that we begin and end work at the same time, etc., lets us see one color of the time rainbow the same way. But we see all the other colors in our individual ways. In time, everything changes. We change inside. We change outside. Our looks change. And our inner selves change. Our lives continually change. Yet we usually do not like change. Even when we're prepared for it, we often resist it. In the meantime, the world changes around us. It doesn't keep time with us. The changes seem to come either too quickly or too slowly. Change may be our constant companion, but we don't tend to think of it as our friend. Change scares us because we may not be able to control it. We much prefer the changes we have decided to make. They make sense to us. It's the changes that happen to us that make us uneasy, that make us feel as if life may be going in the wrong direction. But like it or not, change happens, and like most things in life, doesn't really happen to us. It just happens. Change is saying goodbye to an old, familiar situation and facing a new, unfamiliar situation. Sometimes it's not the old or the new that unnerves us. It's the time in between. Unquote, Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers. Daniel Powder at the end of A Bad Day and Enya, Only Time. Again from the book Life Lessons by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler, published in 2000 by Scribner. And I quote, "We don't value age in Western culture. We don't see wrinkles as part of life. There's something to be prevented, hidden, removed. Yet as much as we miss the energy and buoyancy of youth, most of us wouldn't want to retrace our steps, because we also vividly remember the confusion of those years. We reach middle age with a better understanding of what life is about. We don't have time for the extraneous nonsense. We know who we are and what will make us happy. Once we have learned this lesson, we would not trade it in for our youth again. There's a comfort in this wisdom, and in the recollection that youth is many things, not all of them easy. It may be the age of innocence, but it is also the age of ignorance. It is the age of beauty. It is also the age of painful self-consciousness. It is often the age of adventure, and just as often the age of stupidity. For many, the dreams of youth become the regrets of the old, not because life is over, but because it was unlived. To age gracefully is to experience fully each day and season. When we've truly lived our lives, we don't want to live them again. It's the life that was not lived that we regret. Unquote, Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. Lovers and Other Strangers, Blue Rodeo, and Bad Timing. One last quote from the book Life Lessons by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler, published in 2000 by Scribner. And I quote, "How many years would we like to live? If we were given the chance to live to be 200 years old, or to live forever, how many of us would take it?" Thinking about this helps us to understand the meaning of our lifetimes. We don't want to live beyond our time. How empty it would feel to continue in a world where things have grown beyond our comprehension and we have lost everyone we love. It's about time tonight. Lovers and Other Strangers from 98.1 CHFI. My companion writing is posted right now on the CHFI website at chfi.com. Follow the links on the homepage. That concludes another chapter of Lovers and Other Strangers. Lovers and Other Strangers returns long after the sun sets. Good night. Sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.
Your life set to words and music. Lovers and Other Strangers on 98.1 CHFI.